Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. I got Samaje Morgan here. College of Idaho Yotes. You're a junior now. I was just telling Kate, I remember, I'm an old guy. You guys come in, it's like, it's hard to look at you and not think of you as a freshman anymore, but it happened so fast.
Yeah.
When you came in, you came out of Churchill High School. Obviously, your brother had a great career at the College of Idaho. Did you ever consider going anywhere else when you were in high school? Did you ever think, well, maybe I'll go somewhere else?
No, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up and watching him play was a huge thing for me and my family. I remember, like vividly coming to the College of Idaho games when their crowds were super big, and looking at the environment and looking at the culture that they had was a big thing growing up. And so, growing up, you always want to play college basketball, right? And then, watching him also coach my older brother at Western Oregon was a big thing for me too. Got to see them play. They had a really good team there as well. And so when he got the job at College of Idaho, it kind of lined up where I was, I think, a sophomore, and then COVID hit, and then when junior hit, I think is when they offered me. And so, I knew that I wanted to come here for a pretty long time.
Yeah, but inside you always, it was something you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember your brother playing vividly. He was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
His game was a little bit different than yours, but you're both really good. So you went to Churchill High School. You were Player of the Year, 5A. You guys won the state title. Just talk about that high school team.
Well, we actually didn't win the state title.
I thought you won the state title.
We made it to the state championship my freshman year.
Oh, okay.
Lost to Wilsonville.
Okay, Wilsonville.
Keegan Chivers.
Oh, that group with Reichel and and Reber and them.
Yeah,
but you were a freshman.
I was a freshman that year, yeah. And then sophomore year, we had a really good team, and then COVID year cut it off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the question was talk about that experience.
Well, your high school experience. I mean, okay, you lost to Wilsonville, but you guys had a really good team.
Yeah, great team. Got to play against one of my former teammates this year, Isaiah Wallace at Bushnell. So just always a good time to see him. Silas, I think, is at Jamestown. He had a great career there.
He had a good career there.
He was at LC State for a couple of years and then went there. But yeah, just playing behind those great players. Brian Goracki's at Montana State, and he's having a good career there. So just coming in there and playing with that great group of players. And,
with the AAU now, do you end up going around the league and seeing just a bunch of guys you played AAU with?
Mm-hmm. Especially this year. This year's been a lot of guys I played AAU with, and a lot of guys that I played against or with in high school as well.
I talked to Utrillo after one game, and we were kind of laughing about all the PIL guys on the court.
Yeah, same for him too. Yeah, there's been a lot.
Because he, and then, you're from Churchill, but then Eric Frazier from Grant, Jackson Cooper. There's just tons of PIL. It's a small world now with the AAU. So when you got to College of Idaho, you obviously knew what what NAIA basketball was all about. Were you surprised by the quickness and the speed at all?
Yeah, it's very competitive. I would say that. A lot of people overlook it just because it's a smaller division. But it's some of the best basketball that I've played against, in my career of playing. And I feel like I played against some great talent. And so, it's very, methodical, but very high paced. And so it was pretty hard to, transfer from high school to that, pretty quickly. Yeah. But, just locking in and just trusting myself was probably the biggest thing.
When you first got to College of Idaho and you started running practices, what part of your game did you say, okay, this is the part I got to improve on pretty quickly?
Consistency, for sure. You can't take a day off in practice. You can't take a day off in practice, can't take a day off in games, and just showing up every single day with the same energy, trying your hardest and, locking in, figuring out the plays and stuff. So that's probably the biggest thing. In high school, you can probably take a play or two off, but, when you get to college, it doesn't look too good when you do that. So,
when I watch you play now as a junior compared to when you first came in, you seem really relaxed. You seem to really be enjoying the game a lot. Talk about where you are in basketball right now. It just seems like you're just relishing every moment and just enjoying every second on the court right now.
Yeah, I mean, it took a lot of, ups and downs to get to the point where I'm at right now, getting caught up in stats and, accolades, but, just slowing down and just enjoying the moment and really trusting our team and trusting the process of our, of our system. it's a hard process to get to the point where you're enjoying the game and you're letting it come to you, because everyone wants to be the star player and make the big plays and stuff, right? And just accepting that and accepting my role, because obviously my role each year has been different, and so getting to this role, it's been different from my freshman year, and just accepting that has been the biggest thing.
How much has it helped playing with guys like Drew Wyman and Robinette and just some old heads around to kind of help you out?
Yeah, no, I give them a lot of credit for where I'm at in my career. I've always knew that I was a pretty good passer, but they make it very, very easy. Like guys like Johnny and Drew and Strad and Ty, and the list goes down. I know I can make the right pass, but they also have to make the shot, and they're all incredible shooters and incredible players, and they've enhanced my game in so many ways. And so give them a lot of credit for my career ever since my freshman year, because I couldn't really have done it without them.
Watching you, you're one of the quickest guys I've ever watched getting from the 3-point line to the rim. Have you always been just lightning quick like that? That's a huge advantage you have. Do you feel like you can get to the rim anytime you want, almost?
Yeah.
Not to sound arrogant, but
yeah, no, I do. And like growing up, it was always just like go, playing AU. But as you grow up, you have to learn how to change pace. So, I know that I'm pretty fast, but you can't go fast all the time. So, changing paces and, knowing when to use it, knowing when not to use it has been, a thing that I've built over the years. And so, yeah, pretty confident in my speed for sure.
What has it meant to you to be a part of College of Idaho basketball? People might not know your brother's an assistant coach there. You have a nephew now playing on the team.
Yeah.
It's a big family affair. Your dad's able to come to a lot of games. What has it meant to be part of that program?
Before I came, I don't think anyone will really understand unless they're like actually in the midst of it. Everyone can see it and stuff. But the family aspect has been, huge for me. It's a family away from my family at home.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful to be a part of it. It's so much bigger than just like, all the accolades and, conference championships and national championships and stuff. Those are obviously, those come with what we put into it. But, being a part of this legacy has been, one of the best experiences of my life for sure. Very thankful to be a part, very thankful for Blaine and the coaching staff for giving me the opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, just thankful, playing with my brother, playing with my nephew, or playing for my brother and with my nephew. Not a lot of people can say that.
No, so, that's pretty cool.
I'm just very thankful at the end of the day.
The College of Idaho is a really supportive atmosphere. The Caldwell's supports the Yotes. Just talk about your experience at the school.
Lots of love, I would really say, is the biggest thing. You feel it every single day on campus, off campus, from the staff and just everyone around, from the students themselves. They show a lot of love all the time. You see our games, they're like packed, and, they don't have to come, but they come because they support us and, fully, and they show up day in and day out. But yeah, it's, a lot of people don't have to do that, stopping you when you're walking and talking to you and actually having real conversations is a huge thing, and, they give it to us, so we always try to give it back to them as well. Yeah. So it's been a great
Before I let you go, I got to ask, what's it like to play when you got guys on the 3-point line? You got Drew Wyman, you got Dougie Phillips, you got Johnny Radford. Have you ever played with that many good 3-point shooters?
No, I think it plays. That's why we are very good, because we just have so many weapons. We go 10 deep. When our starting 5 goes off, we have another starting 5 that comes in, or another starting 5, honestly, in my opinion. And, just any single time I get in trouble, hedge the ball screen or get in a double team or pick on my dribble, I just know if I get it to them in their pockets, they have a great chance of the ball going in the hoop. So.
And then last question I got to ask you, how proud are you of Utrillo coming in, true freshman? Mm-hmm. And, I mean, he's playing like a seasoned guy when he gets out there. He's going to be good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to be really great. Push him to hopefully be better than me is the main goal. Like we always want to see, our younger people in our family be the best. And so, I'm glad that I get to play 2 years with him. I get to play this year and then next year as well. So I get to, help him out here and there. And, Manny's here as well. But, I grew up with him. Yeah. We lived with each other for a super long time. And then, we kind of separated. He moved to Portland. I stayed in Eugene. you know, he had a great high school career, and then he got the opportunity to come here. And so, you know, I'm just super proud. I mean, anytime you see someone in your family succeed and go to the next level in anything at all, it's a great moment. And so
he's keeping up the family tradition,
exactly,
isn't he?
you know, and always been proud of him. You know?
He's a great guy.
Yeah, great person to be around. You know, also having him at College of Idaho, seeing him day to day out helps me more than anything. You know, like being away from family is one thing. It's very, very hard for anyone who goes to college. But, you know, having Manny and Trillo, you know, on my good and bad days has been amazing. So
that's
very
cool.
proud
You
of
got
him.
that support.
Yeah.
Samaje, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
That's Samaje Morgan, the College of Idaho Yotes. Thank you.
Thank you.